Chosen one, I want you to slow down for a moment and truly receive this. Not rush past it the way you've been forced to rush past so many things in your life. December 31st is not speaking to the crowd, it is calling you by name. This is not a motivational message designed to hype you up temporarily. This is a divine announcement meant to settle something deep inside you that has been restless for far too long. God is not asking you to try harder, prove more, or explain yourself anymore. He is declaring something final, something finished, something already decided. You have succeeded. And this statement carries weight precisely because it does not depend on your current circumstances, bank balance, recognition, or visible results. Heaven's verdict is not delayed by Earth's timeline. What you've been calling unfinished was actually forming. What you assumed was stagnation was alignment. December 31st is the moment when God allows you to hear what has already been spoken about you in the unseen. Many people see December 31st as an ending, a closing chapter, a quiet sigh of relief after survival. But God sees it as confirmation. He sees it as the point where effort gives way to assurance. You are no longer auditioning for a future. You are stepping into one that has already been approved. Your worthiness is not under review. Your faith is not being tested again. The trial season has ended, and now comes the settling season, where things begin to land instead of constantly shifting. Stay with this message until the end, not out of obligation, but because impartation requires alignment. Something in you is being recalibrated as you listen, your nervous system, your expectations, your self-perception. When asked to type 99, it is not about superstition or performance. It is about agreement. Agreement unlocks activation. And this message is delivered with the gentle authority of truth, not loud, not forceful, but firm and steady, because God is guiding you across a threshold, not pushing you off a cliff. If you study God long enough, you'll notice a pattern. He rarely announces destiny with fireworks. He hides it in ordinary days, ordinary moments, ordinary obedience. That is why December 31st looks unremarkable to those who don't have eyes to see. But for you, it is a convergence point. Every season you thought was disconnected is now meeting here. The obedience that went unnoticed. The integrity that cost you opportunities. The delays that frustrated you. The detours that confused you. All of it is being gathered into meaning. God allows friction not to slow you down, but to shape you. Pressure didn't come to break you. It came to build structure inside you so you wouldn't collapse when favor increased. December 31st is proof that God was never wasting your time. He was teaching you how to carry weight without becoming proud, visible without becoming insecure, and successful without becoming disconnected from Him. You were trained in silence so you wouldn't panic in noise. You were delayed so you wouldn't rush alignment. You were misunderstood so you wouldn't depend on approval. God always prioritizes identity before access. Promotion without grounding destroys people, and God refused to let that happen to you. December 31st is not rewarding speed, it is honoring endurance. It marks the moment when everything you survived finally makes sense. What once felt like loss now reveals itself as protection. What once felt like denial now shows itself as divine redirection. This is how God works, quietly, intentionally, patiently, until suddenly the pieces click into place. And now they are point one of the most freeing truths you will ever learn is this. God does not speak from possibility, He speaks from completion. When He says, "You've succeeded," He is not motivating you toward a hopeful outcome. He is reporting what He has already seen. God exists outside of time. He has walked through your ending, examined it, and declared it good. That is why His word carries certainty even when your circumstances still feel unfinished. You were trained to walk on uneven ground because smooth roads never taught resilience. You were kept off premature platforms because applause would have distorted your assignment. God protected you from rooms that required performance instead of authenticity. And slowly, quietly, He healed you from the addiction to being seen. December 31st confirms that you no longer need external validation to feel secure internally. You are not chasing applause anymore. You are walking in assurance. Heaven is calm about you because heaven is confident about you. Nothing about your success is fragile. It does not depend on trends, opinions, or timing accidents. It is rooted in God's completed work. When doubt tries to speak, remember this: God does not change His verdict based on human delay. What He has declared remains intact, untouched, and irreversible. The hidden seasons were never rejection, they were mercy. God hides what He values until it is safe to reveal. While you questioned your visibility, God was strengthening your foundation. While you wondered why your voice felt unheard, God was refining it so that when it spoke, it would carry authority instead of insecurity. Misunderstanding became insulation. Isolation became instruction. The lack of recognition preserved your humility. December 31st does not introduce self-promotion. It introduces stability. You are stepping forward without needing to announce yourself because your alignment will speak louder than any introduction. God spent time curing insecurity before allowing visibility. That is why you no longer crave attention the way you once did. You learned how to be faithful in obscurity, disciplined in silence, and consistent without reward. The hidden years were not empty, they were full of formation. And now, when doors open, you won't enter them fractured or hungry. You will enter whole, grounded, and ready. December 31st marks the end of preparation and the beginning of participation. Waiting was one of the hardest classrooms God ever placed you in, not because it was empty, but because it was quiet. In the waiting, there was no applause to lean on, no instant feedback to reassure you, no visible proof to calm your doubts. And yet, this is exactly where emotional maturity was formed. God was not delaying you, He was refining you. He was separating you from fear-driven urgency, from the impulse to chase what looked good instead of what was right. In the waiting, your hunger was purified. You stopped craving validation and started valuing impact. You stopped asking, "When will they see me?" and began asking, "Who am I becoming?" That shift is not small. It is monumental. God does not trust immature hearts with big gates, because access without stability creates collapse. Waiting trained you to sit with discomfort without abandoning faith. It taught you how to regulate your emotions instead of letting them lead your decisions. You learned that silence does not mean absence, and stillness does not mean stagnation. December 31st confirms that you can now handle momentum without panic, opportunity without ego, and responsibility without fear. A calm heart has become your qualification. You no longer need everything to move fast to feel secure. You no longer interpret pauses as rejection. Emotional maturity has anchored you, and because of that, God can trust you with more. This is success that begins on the inside and sustains everything on the outside. December 31st is not a finish line, it is a hinge. One side closes quietly, and the other opens steadily. God is not rushing you into something new. He is repositioning you for alignment. Hinges don't make noise, but they change direction. This state shifts momentum without spectacle. You may not feel fireworks, but you will notice alignment. Doors will begin to open without force. Conversations will feel natural instead of strained. Opportunities will fit without requiring you to shrink or compromise who you are. This is the grace of a hinge moment, movement without chaos. Courage arrives differently now. It is not loud or impulsive. It is calm, grounded, and deliberate. December 31st delivers courage packaged specifically for your assignment. You are no longer performing for acceptance. You are showing up from confidence. The pressure to prove yourself fades, replaced by quiet assurance. You will notice that you don't have to explain yourself as much anymore. You don't have to overextend to be included. The right rooms recognize alignment instinctively. This hinge moment does not demand perfection. It requires presence. God is not asking you to sprint. He is inviting you to step forward with trust. Something is turning, even if it feels subtle. And subtle shifts often carry the greatest longevity. This next season will not be navigated by noise. It will be navigated by listening. God is not competing with chaos. He is calling you into attentiveness. Loud seasons train your discernment, but quiet seasons sharpen it. December 31st marks a transition where guidance will come through whispers instead of warnings. Emails that catch your attention. Conversations that linger in your spirit. Ideas that arrive gently but refuse to leave. These are not coincidences, they are directions. God is teaching you to recognize divine rhythm beneath the surface of ordinary life. Protect your inner hearing. Not everything deserves your attention, and not every voice carries wisdom. Distraction dulls discernment. Overexposure weakens sensitivity. God's whisper outweighs megaphones, but only for those willing to slow down enough to hear it. This is a season of precision, not volume. You will move more intentionally, speak more carefully, and respond more thoughtfully. Loud reactions will feel unnatural to you now. December 31st fine-tunes your spiritual senses so that you move by alignment instead of impulse. Listening becomes your advantage. Stillness becomes your strategy. And obedience becomes your language of trust. When God says, "You've succeeded," He is not primarily talking about achievements, titles, or outcomes. He is speaking about readiness. Success, in heaven's language, means your inner world can now sustain your outer calling. Forgiveness matured you. Humility stabilized you. Teachability preserved you. You learned how to say no without guilt and yes without fear. You chose purity over visibility, depth over speed, and alignment over applause. These choices were unseen by many, but they were recorded in heaven. Character became your true qualification. Integrity became your protection. Wisdom replaced urgency. December 31st confirms that keys are being released not because you demanded them, but because you matured into them. You are no longer easily offended, easily distracted, or easily discouraged. You don't collapse under correction or inflate under praise. That balance is rare and powerful. This is why success is now safe for you. What once would have overwhelmed you can now be stewarded with grace. God trusts you because you have proven faithful in unseen places. And trust is the currency of expansion. December 31st is not a day to rush through or treat casually. It is a day that responds to stewardship. God does not release significance randomly. He responds to readiness. This means preparing your space, your schedule, your words, your finances, and most importantly, your heart. Stewardship begins with awareness. How you speak today matters. How you listen matters. What you tolerate matters. Gratitude becomes your spiritual calibration, aligning your perception with heaven's perspective. When gratitude is present, you recognize favor while it is still forming instead of only after it has manifested. This is a day to honor process without dramatizing it, to respect progress without exaggerating it. There are two temptations on days like this: minimizing the win or inflating it. Minimizing says, "It's nothing special," which dishonors God's work. Exaggerating says, "This changes everything overnight," which creates unrealistic pressure. God calls you to stand in honesty and precision. Celebrate without arrogance. Acknowledge without anxiety. December 31st responds to balance. When you steward small confirmations well, God entrusts larger ones. When you remain grounded, heaven continues to build. This day is not about proving anything. It is about positioning yourself accurately so that what God releases can be sustained beyond the moment point. One of the most subtle battles you will face in this season is learning to discern fear when it disguises itself as wisdom. Fear often speaks in reasonable language. It says, "Be careful, wait a little longer. What if it doesn't work?" Prudence, however, brings peace, clarity, and direction. Fear creates paralysis. Prudence creates movement with order. December 31st requires honesty. Name the fear. Don't spiritualize it. Don't justify it. Identify it and surrender it to God. Faith is not reckless, but it is responsive. Movement is faith's language. You don't need to see the entire path, just the next obedient step. God meets motion with multiplication. When you step forward, even imperfectly, heaven responds with reinforcement. Fear wants you to delay obedience until certainty arrives. God asks you to move while trusting Him with the outcome. December 31st is not about eliminating fear, it's about refusing to let fear decide. When you move with humility and trust, God carries the weight you were never meant to hold alone. This date opens through 5 spiritual gates, and each one requires alignment rather than effort. Identity is the first gate. You are not auditioning anymore. You are arriving. You no longer need to prove who you are or explain why you belong. Identity settled releases peace. Focus is the second gate. You are choosing assignment over endless options. Distraction is no longer flattering. Clarity is. You are learning to say no without fear of missing out, trusting that alignment produces better fruit than abundance. Communication is the third gate. Words carry weight now. You speak clearly, kindly, and wisely. Silence becomes intentional, not passive. Stewardship is the fourth gate. You respect order, timing, and first fruit, your time, energy, and attention. Rest is the fifth gate. Holy rest is not laziness, it is trust. Rest declares that God is working even when you pause. These gates open quietly but powerfully, leading you into sustained success. Healing in this season does not demand regression. You are not required to revisit old wounds to prove growth. Closure does not always involve conversation, and reconciliation does not always mean reunion. God is restoring futures more than pasts. Emotional residue, resentment, disappointment, regret is being released without drama. You are learning how to forgive without reopening doors that should remain closed. Peace becomes your evidence of progress. You no longer need to explain what happened or defend your healing. God is teaching you that maturity often looks quiet. December 31st allows you to move forward without dragging emotional weight behind you. Healing is happening because you are choosing peace over proof, growth over guilt, and freedom over familiarity. What once hurt you no longer controls you. And that, in heaven's eyes, is victory. God's definition of success has never been about visibility. It has always been about responsibility. Influence in God's hands is stewardship, not spotlight. This is why December 31st carries weight instead of hype. You are not being elevated to be admired. You are being entrusted to serve. Responsibility is love wearing work clothes. It shows up early. It stays late. It chooses excellence when shortcuts are available. It protects what God places under your care. You have been trained to value longevity over quick wins, substance over applause, and faithfulness over fame. That training matters now. Many people want the benefits of success without the burden of responsibility, but God builds leaders who can carry both. December 31st confirms that you can now be trusted with influence without becoming inflated, with authority without becoming harsh, and with opportunity without becoming careless. You understand that excellence is not perfection, it is consistency. You are learning to do the right thing even when no one is watching. This is how God builds generational leaders. Not through flashes of brilliance, but through steady obedience. Your success will last because it is rooted in responsibility, not ego. God's criteria for qualification rarely match human standards. While the world looks for credentials, visibility, and popularity, God looks for obedience. Your life has been a series of divine training workshops, some uncomfortable, some confusing, some deeply stretching. But every experience carried instruction. Leadership was not given to you through theory. It was formed through lived testimony. Wisdom came through mistakes, corrections, humility, and perseverance. You learned how to listen before speaking, how to follow before leading, and how to submit without losing identity. December 31st confirms that your qualification has already been earned. You don't need to prove your readiness. Your obedience has already spoken. God trusts those who obey quietly. You have demonstrated faithfulness in small things, unseen moments, and inconvenient assignments. That faithfulness now becomes the foundation for greater responsibility. This is leadership born from experience, not ambition. As influence increases, God also teaches you how to carry wealth and authority without letting them redefine you. Wealth is fuel, not identity. Authority is responsibility, not control. Influence is protection, not pressure. December 31st marks a season where God entrusts you with more, not so you can dominate spaces, but so you can cover them. Your presence begins to lower anxiety in rooms. People feel safer, calmer, and more grounded around you, not because you have all the answers, but because you are anchored. God is shaping you into a leader who empowers rather than controls, who listens rather than intimidates, who guides rather than forces. Stewardship principles now matter more than ambition. You are learning how to manage increase wisely, emotionally, spiritually, and practically. Authority paired with love creates trust. Wealth steward with humility creates sustainability. Influence exercised with wisdom creates legacy. December 31st confirms that you are becoming a covering, not a controller, and that is a rare and powerful calling. Point one of the clearest signs of alignment in this season is renewed energy. Not frantic energy, not adrenaline-driven hustle, but steady, clean strength. Emotional heaviness lifts. Mental fog clears. Assignments that once drained you no longer demand your attention. God is reclaiming energy that was tied up in old seasons, old battles, and old responsibilities that no longer belong to you. December 31st restores vitality without pressure. You will notice synchronicities, confirmations that arrive without force. Conversations align. Opportunities appear at the right time instead of the rushed time. God's miracles meet your management. This means organization becomes essential. What God multiplies must be steward. Order protects increase. Structure sustains favor. December 31st teaches you how to manage what God accelerates so that growth does not overwhelm you. This is divine timing meeting disciplined stewardship, and the result is peace. After significant breakthroughs, God often allows small, almost unnoticeable tests, not to threaten what He has given, but to protect it. These tests rarely look dramatic. They show up as delays that seem unnecessary, comments that minimize your progress, or projections from people who are uncomfortable with your growth. December 31st does not exempt you from these moments. It prepares you for them. The temptation is to overreact, defend yourself, or push harder to prove legitimacy. But God is watching posture, not pressure. Your response now matters more than your reaction. Steadiness becomes the language of leadership. You don't need to explain your progress to those who haven't walked your path. You don't need to argue with misunderstanding. Calm reveals confidence. God measures whether your heart stays anchored when the environment fluctuates. These small tests reveal whether success has matured you or merely excited you. December 31st shows that you can remain composed, thoughtful, and grounded even when affirmation is inconsistent. This is how leaders are formed, through consistency under subtle pressure. True humility is accurate self-assessment under God. It is neither self-deprecation nor arrogance. It is knowing who you are without inflating or minimizing it. December 31st calls you into a season of order, not rigid control, but intentional alignment. How you organize your environment reflects how you prepare for expansion. Decluttering physical and digital spaces becomes a spiritual act. Order is prayer in action. It creates room for God's movement. Receiving compliments with grace is part of humility. You no longer deflect or downplay what God has done. You acknowledge it without clinging to it. Your environment begins to reflect your maturity, cleaner boundaries, clearer schedules, fewer distractions. God often moves where there is space. December 31st invites you to prepare room not just externally, but internally. Order signals readiness. And readiness attracts increase. As alignment increases, opportunities multiply. Not all of them are meant for you. Discernment becomes essential. Clear questions honor clarity. You are no longer afraid to pause, evaluate, and inspect opportunities, even ones that look familiar or resurrected. Peace becomes your decision maker. Pressure loses its authority. God's urgency never manipulates, it invites. December 31st sharpens your ability to distinguish between what is good and what is assigned. Diligence replaces impulsiveness. You understand that saying no can be just as spiritual as saying yes. Divine opportunities arrive without coercion, without anxiety, without confusion. They feel anchored. You move forward because alignment is present, not because fear is pushing you. This is mature faith, responsive, thoughtful, and grounded. Endings matter to God. How you close a day often determines how you enter the next one. December 31st invites you into an evening reflection practice, not out of ritual, but out of relationship. Take time to acknowledge obedience, lessons, corrections, and quiet victories. Capture what God is teaching you. Testimonies grow when they are recorded. Reflection turns moments into methods. God is not only giving you a moment, He is giving you a system. Legacy is built through consistency, not intensity. Scaling comes through stewardship. When you reflect, you refine. When you refine, you grow. December 31st marks the transition from reacting to life to partnering with God intentionally. This is how influence lasts. This is how impact multiplies. The purpose of this win was never to decorate your ego or inflate your identity. God does not give trophies, He gives tools. December 31st marks a victory that equips you rather than exalts you. What you are stepping into is meant to become an answer to prayer, not just for you, but for others who will benefit from your obedience. Influence in God's hands becomes shelter. Your growth creates ladders for others to climb. Your healing becomes permission for others to begin theirs. God sustains those who choose to sustain others, and this is why your success is built with compassion at its core. You are learning that fulfillment does not come from being admired, but from being useful in alignment with God's heart. The weight you now carry is purposeful, not burdensome. December 31st confirms that your life is becoming a living response to the needs around you. What once felt like private struggle now becomes public strength, not because you showcase it, but because others recognize it. This is success that multiplies goodness quietly and steadily. Excellence is worship in motion. It is the decision to give God your best without demanding recognition. December 31st awakens creative flow that does not compete, it contributes. Ideas will come softly but persistently. Capture them. Honor them. Creativity in this season is not about volume. It is about alignment. You are learning to guard against comparison because comparison distorts assignment. Your lane is specific. Your timing is intentional. Your expression is unique. God is teaching you to trust His character beyond dates and deadlines. Alignment now matters more than speed. You no longer need to keep up, you need to stay aligned. When excellence meets obedience, creativity becomes sustainable. December 31st confirms that what you build next will carry longevity because it flows from clarity, not pressure. What you declare matters. Words align perspective. On the morning after December 31st, speak in agreement with what God has already decided. Release old narratives, stories of delay, lack, and self-doubt that no longer serve your future. Faith must be expressed through movement. Even small steps matter. Obedience does not require perfection. It requires willingness. The first step of faith is often quiet. It may look like sending an email, organizing your space, setting a boundary, or making a decision you've delayed. Movement activates momentum. December 31st trains you to respond, not hesitate. Faith speaks, then moves. And God meets motion with grace. God protects you through pacing. Expansion without capacity creates collapse. December 31st introduces growth that matches your ability to steward it. Integrity strengthens your grip. You are learning to expand without rushing, increase without anxiety, and build without burning out. Protection now comes through wisdom, rest, and discernment. This is expansion that feels steady, not overwhelming. God is not in a hurry, and neither are you. Capacity grows as obedience continues. December 31st confirms that what is coming will not break you. It will stretch you just enough to grow stronger. May courage rise without fear. May clarity replace confusion. May rest guard your heart. May joy return without effort. God has prepared a table for you, not scraps, not leftovers, not survival, but abundance with purpose. As you sit at that table, leave crumbs for others, not out of obligation, but out of overflow. Let your life remind others that obedience works, alignment matters, and God finishes what He starts. Return to this anchoring truth whenever doubt whispers. December 31st is your big win. God says you've succeeded. Your confidence is not rooted in performance, timing, or opinion. It is rooted in God's already finished work. Walk forward calmly. Walk forward humbly. Walk forward assured.